WrestleTalk!
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast here every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD. If you haven't already, please press subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. That could be on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. And this episode is brought to you by paying your goddamn dues, Avery Styles. It's not that hard. That is a chair that I've just put up. If you're at an indie show, Avery Styles... Have you heard this, Luke? I don't know if enough people are talking about it. AJ Styles' kid, this Nepo baby, he walks into a show, he's given the first class treatment, and he just walks into the show, and they're like, can you please set up a chair for me? And he slapped him. He slapped a veteran of the business for 40 years and said, I'm not putting up a stinking chair. I'm AJ Styles' kid, you dickhead. And then he took the person's drink, downed it in front of them, and put it on their head. With the ice still in it, dripped down their head, and he just went backstage and played video games.
Yeah. And then signed a WWE contract on that guy's chest.
Yeah.
I nearly introduced a new segment onto the WrestleTalk News today, which was called Non-Story of the Week, which is where I just find a story that everyone is talking about, but it's actually a non-story, and we're spending far too much time talking about it. And it was going to be this Avery Styles one.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of stuff tied up in how people feel about the business, and should people get a free ride because of who their fathers are. I thought Cody's tweet was...
I don't know, should we go back to the start of time?
I thought Cody's...
and ask The Rock? I don't know.
Cody's tweet was really good. He was like, look, he's kind of paid his dues in a way because AJ Styles was off wrestling for his childhood.
I think that's bollocks.
Whatever.
I mean, he didn't pay his dues.
I think there's... Yeah, but he had a father who wasn't around as much.
And so now he can become a father that's not around as much.
Exactly.
Great.
It's the circle of wrestling. But what this all really comes down to, and all the podcasts and the shorts and stuff, we've intentionally not covered it on the WrestleTalk News because I have no idea why it's such a story.
Because it's a non-story.
Well, it's August.
Because there are no stories.
There is a time-honoured tradition in the UK. August happens, we kind of run out of news, or news becomes a bit boring. Iran. Talk about a movie that's repetitive.
The MCU of news stories.
I'm in like the multiverse saga of the Iran war at the moment. I've lost interest. Anyway, it's just repetitive and over again. But yeah, with the newspapers will start to cover things like there's a shark. Yeah. Someone saw a shark off the coast of Cornwall.
Have you heard how expensive Andy Burnham's glasses are?
Yeah, there's a panther loose near Dorset. No one knows how it goes. And that's like a national news story because there's just Parliament's on holiday. We're too hot. There was there's that academic scandal, the Cambridge, I believe it's Cambridge, academic who's been sort of ousted for plagiarism.
Oh, I've not heard that.
Yeah, it's quite a big story, and it's all sort of tied into sort of DEI and whether that person got their job because of who they are and stuff and their identity. And then the Private Eye just summed it up as, yeah, it's August. But on today's episode, we won't be covering that.
No, we're covering non-stories. Instead, we're going to talk about speculation.
Yeah, that's my kind of story.
That's August for you. We're reviewing Dynamite later on. We've got the Ass Index. We're going to be kicking things off, though, with it's not a developing story, but it's been a story that's been going on for the last couple of weeks. And it's a kind of a fascinating story in that it's something that you and I have been talking about on this show for a lot of 2026 that now appears to have been a lot of our thoughts appear to be because of what was on screen is being reflected by what's happening backstage, which is this idea that creative in WWE is stale, the company is stagnant, it's not hot anymore, it's not WrestleMania 40 anymore, and because of that, when you're hot, you can do nothing wrong. When you're cold, you can do nothing right. And at the moment, they can do nothing right, and that breeds disgruntlement. And now the fruits of stale creative and not doing anything for 2 years is coming to the forefront, because those people who have been on treadmills for 2 years are now frustrated they've been on treadmills for 2 years.
Yeah, WrestleMania 40 and that whole time period and John Cena's retirement year papered over a lot of the post-40 cracks. What an exciting time to be a WWE fan. But what they should have done is use some of that to build the next generation of stars. And there was an effort to do it with Bron Breakker, put him in the vision with Seth Rollins, Jacob Fatu being put in the bloodline, Oba Femi going against Brock Lesnar. You know, there have been efforts, but we're only really left with Oba, and he's in a holding period until WrestleMania where he can fight Roman. Bron Breakker is completely sort of lost all momentum, and Jacob Fatu's he's been neutered.
He's been neutered.
In the bloodline.
Yeah. Part of this is the TKO 2026 strategy, which has been, again, it's the result of the last few years of TKO's planning and preparation. Cut down on house shows. Cut down on house shows, which means wrestlers aren't wrestling as much anymore. Because of that, wrestlers then aren't wrestling on TV as much anymore. So we're bringing you 2 less shows. So you could be a Javon Evans, and you could be on TV for 3 weeks, and then you're not on TV for 3 weeks. And in the 3 weeks you're on TV, you might wrestle once. And one of the reasons to do this is so we could pay you less.
I don't know if that's what's happening.
Well, that's what Brian Alvarez said.
What, that people are just... Because they're not getting paid per show deals.
No, they're not getting paid. But the reason why they were offered those restructured deals post-WrestleMania for less money is because you're wrestling less.
But I think that's just based on they've slashed half of their live events, not the TV.
But my point is, because you are on TV less, there is less time for you to get pushes. There is less time for you to develop your characters. There is less time for you to show off what you do. So things just inevitably will take longer to do. It will take Javon Evans a lot longer to get over because he's not going to be on TV as much. It's going to take, who's another guy we can use an example? Sol Rucker. It's going to take Sol Rucker longer to get over because she's not going to be on TV as much. Lyra Valkyria cannot get over this new character that she's introduced a month and a bit ago because she's not on TV as much.
But Dominic Mysterio's on TV all the time, he's also not doing anything. It is also a matter of quality, not the quantity.
There are two things there. There's the house show side of things and the TKO side of things. And then there is just, I think, Triple H's quite lackadaisical, glacial pace of telling stories, which often amounts to, can we save this until WrestleMania? And we saw that with Jimmy and Jay. They did the big turn at SummerSlam. They were like, oh man, WrestleMania's ages away. Put them on different brands and we'll not talk about this feud at all until January when we can start doing it again.
It's not my understanding of I don't think it's the live show cut down thing. I think the pay scale thing. I don't think they're not putting people on TV because they're saying, well, we're paying you on a per appearance. Because it seems like...
I'm not saying it's per appearance. I'm just saying they're paying people less because they're using them less. That's the justification.
I guess, yeah, it's all tied into their star quality. But they want to build stars. Personally, I don't think that's it. I think more the TKO problem is they need infinite growth. And they need it every year. And the wrestling business, as we all know, is cyclical. It's never going to be hot all the time. Even CMLL right now, they're the oldest wrestling company in the world. And the owner, I can't remember his name. Apparently he's like, yep, well, I'm just gonna ride this wave because I know in a year, 2 years time, the cycle of the business, things will happen. My stars will move on or get bought by WWE and I'll go in a down period. So I'll save some money now for that down period because I also know it might go up.
It'll go up again.
But TKO doesn't have the patience for that because TKO has to satisfy its shareholders. So really, and we got this in 2019 when Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff were given the executive director roles of Raw and SmackDown. And Heyman said, the ratings have to take a hit to Vince. The ratings have to take a hit because I'm going to build new stars. But the idea is, after a year, the ratings will be higher than they are now because we built new stars.
It's the same argument he gave to Dixie Carter when Dixie Carter offered to bring him in 2010. 2010, incredible year for TNA. Starts off with Hogan and Bischoff running the show, and about 6 months in, Dixie's like, this isn't working, I need new people. Goes to Paul Heyman. And Heyman said the same thing. If you bring me in, getting rid of all these old fellas that Hogan and Bischoff have brought in, and we're going to start afresh. We're going to start with a whole new bunch of characters, but it does mean the ratings will go down. And Dixie had been convinced by bad wrestling people, the ratings are the only thing that matters. And if the ratings matter, the only thing that matters now is next week's rating. If that goes down, yeah, that's bad business. And so she didn't go with Heyman. She just stuck with Bischoff and Hogan, and it didn't work.
And in this TKO era, it's ratings kind of, but it's also the live event tickets. Elimination Chamber. Oh, it's not looking very good. Can The Rock come back and John Cena turn heel?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 42 isn't doing very well. Can John Cena come and host the show?
Can Pat McAfee?
Can Pat McAfee and all these other Jelly Roll be involved? It's TKO just really are interested in the numbers of the business, and that's at the expense of realizing that they will have to sometimes have dips to come back to the highs later. I love Oba. I love Oba Femi. He's not as over as for me as he was 6 months ago. But I actually think he's been a disaster for creative, because now TKO can look and go, you say you need loads of time to get someone over.
Yeah.
But Oba worked. Because Oba just turns up, and he's like, he's a generational person where he just feels fully formed. Granted, he's been down in NXT. But the main roster thing, it clicked with Brock Lesnar. It all happened just perfectly.
Yeah, but you say that. What did they do with Oba Femi? They brought him in and treated him like a star. I go, shock horror. All of a sudden, he feels like a star. Yeah. It's not, I apologize for swearing so early in the show, it's not fucking rocket science. This is not brain surgery. If you bring someone in and treat them like a mid-carder, guess what's happened with Ethan Page? They brought him in, treated him like a mid-carder, and now he's a mid-carder. And actually, he's diminished from that. You bring in Sol Ruka and you have her lose twice on TV. Guess what? She doesn't feel like she's a star. You brought Oba Femi in, had him eliminate a bunch of people from the Royal Rumble, then got in the face of Brock Lesnar, then came out and challenged Brock Lesnar and squashed him at WrestleMania. Guess what? He feels like a star. And I can't say everyone just gets to beat Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes, but there's not one route or no route. There are multiple routes to make people come in and feel like stars. The Shield debuted and felt like stars because they were working with the main eventers, and the main eventers were putting them over. Not John Cena, of course, but the other main eventers were putting them over.
And in hindsight, you look back at WrestleMania 40, that's the time you should have been having someone like Bron Breakker come up and just beat, I don't know, I'd CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Punk wasn't there, I know. But.
It feels like they're afraid of momentum. And I'm going to use Dominic Mysterio as the example. I said at WrestleMania 41, look at the reaction he's got. You need to go with this. And I spent all of 2025 being like, why are we doing anything with this Dominic Mysterio momentum that we had from WrestleMania 40? And now where is he? Doing the same shit
he beat John Cena.
He's doing the same shit he was doing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's in the exact same position. His character has not changed since he first joined the Judgment Day. He's in the same position. And that was years ago.
So he is one of the names. Bron Breakker was sort of the first name that came out about a month ago, post... In all the King of the Ring stuff, I guess. And that was Abu, wasn't it, who said Bron Breakker is frustrated because the vision is nothing compared to what it was the year previously. He's floundering. He's the fourth most important thing in his own faction. And now Paul Heyman's left as well.
He's only one half of the tag team champions because Logan Paul is injured.
And then it came out that Dominic Mysterio is also feeling frustrated because down in AAA, he's the mega champion. He's a much bigger star. But on the main roster, he's only won once this year.
Yeah. And so they did nothing off the back of that John Cena thing, which ultimately means the John Cena thing didn't get him over. John Cena did not put him over. He just lost to Dominic Mysterio.
And this is so interesting because both me and you, until this podcast, thought that Damian Priest, in the build to SummerSlam, went on a podcast and said, man, I'm sick of the same people being pushed over and over again.
Yeah, that was my recollection of it, it was on a podcast.
It was right after that Sinbad movie. And what happens is, no, that wasn't just Damian Priest maybe getting a bit shooty out of frustration on a podcast. That was actually a scripted line in a backstage segment on SmackDown with Cody Rhodes.
Or I can't remember where it was.
It was backstage. Yeah. Damian Priest to Cody Rhodes, I respect you, and I have respect for Punk. But as a matter of fact, the boys... we're sick of the same people being the face of this brand. Whoever walks out of SummerSlam as champion is getting dropped. End of story. it's a kayfabe character promo.
Yeah.
Right.
And what has Damien Priest done since SummerSlam?
I don't know. Yeah, the tag match.
The tag match against the War Raiders.
And then Triple H addresses this at SummerSlam, at the post-SummerSlam media conference.
Because he's brought them back now. Quite a journey he's been on. He did them because Tony Khan did them. Then it turns out he didn't like being asked questions.
About his father-in-law's sexual misconduct allegations.
Or his bad booking, or people leaving his company. So he stopped doing them and then started doing the post shows in front of fans. But then fans started booing him because of it. So he then just did them as backstage interviews. Then he just didn't do them. And now he's doing them as media interviews again. But it feels far more curated and scripted this time round.
And why does it feel more curated?
Because Club Radio WWE are doing the interviews.
Because WWE have rebranded Busted Open Radio WWE Radio. So now Triple H can go and do a media call with his own division.
Yeah. Stephanie McMahon from the What's Your Story podcast.
Yeah. Undertaker from the 6 Feet Under podcast.
And he's not doing that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah, he said it was lame.
He said, I'd rather have my teeth pulled than do a podcast with my wife.
So would I. Not with my wife. I mean, listen to another podcast with The Undertaker and Michelle McCool. So Triple H, in his own media conference, replying to a question from his own fake interviewer who was asking the question based on a segment that Triple H had written, said, look, I get that. If you're the guy that wants to take the spot, it's frustrating when there's guys above you that have the spot. And that's the thing. We're in a period of time where there's a lot of top performers in top spots that over time have earned those spots and are selling tickets and are incredibly popular. So you really have to do something. The narrative of, it's my turn. I've been here for a while. There's no turns. That's not how it works. You earn a spot. Believe me, if somebody is getting more over than somebody else, we move that person into the spot, move that other person down. But it's not just that. It's not just they're getting the loud crowd reaction. Are they going to be good in the spot? Are they going to hold up their end of the bargain? Are they going to screw up if we give it to them? Are they going to be a mistake that we regret? Those are all the things factored in. The right human being, the right position. And I always thought that bit, because he's talking about, well, you know, if you get over, we push you.
He's talking about Bron Breakker.
But then he realised, LA Knight. They react loudly to LA Knight. So then he goes, yeah, but are you going to be good in the role? Are you going to screw it up? But yeah, he just goes on about how a million talent tried to succeed.
Well, yeah, this is the key line. This is the line that everybody used after SummerSlam, which is, I've seen a million talent succeed because of what they do, not because of storyline or creative, that they gave them the spot. 99% of the time in this business, the person gets over, then they get the push. That's how it works, which is absolute bollocks.
I've got a good example of that.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Triple H, yeah.
A guy who needed so much politicking, going out with the boss's daughter, going into the writing meetings.
Every other main eventer putting him over to no reaction whatsoever.
All of 1999. It's like, why is this guy here? And then Mick Foley comes out at February, kills himself. Well, January wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
January, and then again at February.
And kills himself to get Triple H over. And then we're like, you know what? This Triple H kid's not so bad.
And then what did we do? It was like, probably should put the title on The Rock, though.
Yeah.
And then Triple H was like, I think we should put the title back on me a month later.
So, despite
the fact that Rock is getting better crowd reactions than I am.
Yeah.
But, it's the crowd. Then the push comes.
So it's very, and now the thing off of the back of that, because we've had the Abu report about Dominic Mysterio and Bron Breakker. I think it was Abu who did.
Yeah,
Dominic.
He did, yeah.
And then we don't usually cite this as a source unless we're having fun.
No, I did. I had my fun with this in the news today. Mm-hmm. I said because people get really annoyed if you quote Meltzer, or quote Sean Ross Sapp, or quote Abu, self-made. They don't know what they're talking about. They just make things up. And I know that because I listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast and he tells me so.
So many people are happy to just eat the stuff Coachman and Russo say. So Jonathan Coachman on the 2 count, as in the number 2, as in a big load of shit. The shit count said that his sources told him that WWE is 1,000% behind pushing Austin Theory. And that's why people like Bron Breakker are frustrated with the booking. This is a quote. A lot of these talent are talking. They're contacting people like myself.
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio's backstage, but has anyone got Coachman's number?
They're trying to get the message out without doing it themselves because we've seen what's happened with Damian Priest. You don't think he's getting heat backstage for what happened? Maybe we are missing a podcast interview that Priest did.
Well, no, because then the article that we're taking this from says, it seems the coach is referring to Priest's one line on a recent episode of SmackDown.
Yeah. So what we have here is a genuine situation, I believe, based on the reports and just common sense, really. Like, look at the creative. Look at how dejected Bron and Priest have been.
You made this point, brilliantly so. You don't have to have backstage source or anything. You can just watch the show. Heyman is no longer with the Vision. The second the Vision became lame, Paul Heyman just got himself away from that group and moved himself over to Obafemi and Brock Lesnar and had nothing to do with this group of dorks and losers because he knows it's full of dorks and losers. And if you are hanging out with dorks and losers, you yourself look like a dork and loser.
He doesn't want to Rybacksel it again.
He doesn't. And he's got Rybacksel with Austin Theory and Logan Paul as the Vision. It's like, this sucks. This is not what I wanted to do with this group. And unfortunately, Bron Breakker's involved in that. And the only reason he's now getting involved with it is because he's trying to elevate Bron Breakker out of the Vision and get him far away from that. And that came from the report from Bron Breakker is trying to do everything he can to get out of the Vision because he knows it's a weight around his neck.
And it's not a coincidence that has been the best thing on Raw for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the Bron, Oba, oh my God, what's going to happen there interaction. So there's obviously a group of wrestlers, male and female, I reckon, who are frustrated, not just with the company, but with the people who are being pushed above them. And I think that Coachman at least says Austin Theory is one of those.
Yeah.
I think, you could probably just figure that out by estimating. He said
on Coach and Bro, which is like, so he did that podcast first, then he elaborated on the 2 Count podcast. And he said on Coach and Bro that Bron's frustration comes from the fact that they're getting behind Austin Theory. And if you're in a faction, there can only be one guy that's getting pushed, and Austin Theory is the guy that they're pushing, and that comes at the expense of Bron Breakker. I think the problem with Coachman doing this interview now is that it's 2 weeks now where Bron Breakker is clearly being the guy that's pushed in the Vision, and it's not Austin Theory because he's feuding with Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, Theory just got decked by Obafemi when he walked down.
Yeah.
That was a big boot, wasn't it? So yeah, you've got names like Austin Theory. Maybe Oba is in that group because he is certainly getting pushed, but I think that's one of the guys where you wouldn't resent him getting pushed. You could totally get why he is.
I think Oba is who Triple H is talking about when he's like, if someone's getting more over than you, we put you in that position and move you down. Because that's the Bron and Oba story.
Yeah.
Bron was getting over, then Oba came in and got more over than him. So all of the focus, he was the new Buzz Lightyear. And he picked up Bron, I don't want to play with you anymore, and dropped him into the trash bag.
I was just trying to think of some names. Maybe you've got some more. But Logan Paul, it's kind of a special case because of his celebrity, but that's another one who gets a lot of TV time rather than people you could be making new stars out of, like your Javons and your LA Knights. I don't know. Trick Williams, I'd put.
It's an interesting one, yeah. I think they clearly do believe in Trick, and the report currently is that he's currently earmarked to win Money in the Bank.
One of the names,
yeah.
I bet they don't know at the moment.
Triple H doesn't care.
Trick he's outside of a few matches where near the end of the match I've gone oh, this is a great match. He's never really clicked with me.
No, he's an entrance. He's an entrance aura.
Yeah.
He's got superstar appeal, but I don't crave watching Trick Williams matches.
Mid-card Jey Uso? As opposed to main event Jey Uso?
Yeah.
Which is really undercard Jey Uso. And I put Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I actually really like Liv Morgan, but my God, does she get pushed so much?
Yeah.
I think she should be in the mix, but not to the amount she has been.
Which is funny to say because one of the other things we have said on this show is that they've done nothing with her since she won the title. And I still argue to this that they still have done nothing with her since she won the title.
And then she's getting, like we said this week, that Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer just pretty much jobbed around.
Well,
and the focus on that. But she just gets so much time.
So a few people pointed out that what we did miss from that, because we didn't see the big brain play of Liv Morgan, is she was walking up the ramp while Stephanie and Becky were getting into it, laughing because she's playing the mind games. And really, who's the real winner in this situation?
Is that like when Mandy Rose took the count out loss to Nia Jax? Oh, the mind games. She's
really
the
won?
real winner here. Any other names of people you feel in WWE who...
Jade.
Jade's a good shout, yeah.
I think Jade is someone that they really do want to be a star within this company.
And it's not even guessing if there's friction there, because like Piper Niven is quite vocal. If it's an angle, well done. Yep. You fooled me. But it seems like you genuinely don't like her. Yeah. And then like Chelsea Green, I would say, is someone who could be one of those frustrated names. And that sort of Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, not liking Jade Cargill thing.
It's so funny. And again, I don't want to sound like we're just, the podcast that always refers back to old things. But we are doing 2001 at the moment as our podcast series on Patreon. And we were just talking about a report that came out from the end of Survivor Series 2001, where one of the reasons why this invasion angle didn't work, and one of the reasons why the company is currently struggling, is that it's got a talent problem. It's got too many talent, and all the people they've decided to push are all the bad people to push, who are the bad wrestlers. So you had a guy like, when they bought the WCW names, they had Kwee and Kid Romeo and Elix Skipper, good workers who could go out there and put on good matches, but they sent them to developmental and kept on the roster Sean Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo because they're tall and because they're big. And that's what Vince McMahon always preferred over anything else. You're tall and big. And I think that Triple H, just like Vince McMahon, is a body guy. And if you can look like a star, doesn't matter if you can put on good matches or you're a good worker or you're a good promo. If you look like a star, we're going to give you a push over someone who doesn't look as much of a star.
There's always an element of that for sure, but actually, I don't think I've ever felt of Triple H's NXT era or this WWE era. It's big sweaty men. No, so that was definitely for Vince. Like you could just be tall and big or whatever, and you would get pushed, and that was enormously frustrating as a fan. But maybe Triple H's thing is an entrance. If he falls in love with your entrance, because he is, that's reportedly what he used to love working on in NXT. You can see it in the sort of that there was a clip last year of him going through Stephanie Vaquer and planning out her entrance, Penta's entrance, and you know what? They're amazing entrances.
There's a video that's come out from SummerSlam, and all of Triple H's things is him working with people on their entrance.
Yeah.
And there was reports from, and actually I don't think it was reports, I think people have said this on podcasts and DVD extras and stuff. A lot of WrestleMania used to be built around what's Triple H's entrance this year. Could people come to WrestleMania to see the Triple H entrance? So we've got to have another big Triple H entrance this year.
And I love entrances. Some of those NXT entrances are what made that black and gold era so incredible.
And the music.
And it got them over as well.
Glorious. I did wonders for Bobby Roode.
But it's not just a song. It was the whole descending from the thing.
It's boom for Adam Cole.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that helped get him over.
And Triple H is fantastic at that. But what NXT had was a great in-ring product and generally really good feuds at a main event level.
Because he got everyone from Ring of Honor and New Japan and from the indie scene, and he created a super show.
So if you have a great entrance in WWE, is that actually what Triple H will go, I want to get that entrance on this week's TV?
So that's why Dom's not getting pushed.
Because what's Dom's entrance? But Trick Williams will get
an incredible entrance.
Every week.
He's got Little Yachty out there as part of the entrance.
Liv Morgan's Trouble.
Penta's got the entrance. Stephanie Vaquer's got the aura, and it's got superstar aura when she makes her entrance.
It's a bit chicken and egg, is someone getting pushed because they've got a great entrance, or are they getting a great entrance because they're getting pushed?
Well, it's 99% of the time. It's the fans who have decided.
But Chad Gable.
It's about the entrance.
I kind of miss his old music. I feel like that he should have just gone back to that. But no, we're going to give you a push I'm going to give you an entrance.
We need to get you an entrance now.
We're going to get you clapping. Yeet. The frickin' WWE Sting ends with everyone doing the yeet to Jay's entrance.
We did this on TLC when I did best catchphrases. I had yeet at number 10, not because I like it, but it was like, that is a catchphrase that won him a world title. If Jey Uso did not do yeet, he would not have won the world championship. That's an entrance. And I think you're absolutely right. It's really what it boils down to. I thought of something and then it's gone from me. I mean, Cody Rhodes' whoa is a big part of the entrance, a big part of his sort of like push and stuff. I'll try and remember the point I was going to make, but because it's gone from me, so please go on.
Well, Cody Rhodes, but that's the SummerSlam entrances are bigger. They were excellent, I thought. So who are the frustrated? Because if that's who are the pushed right now? We just look at how good their entrance is. Oba.
Mm-hmm. You got the strut.
Got the strut. It's
over.
That's
a good point.
Who are the frustrated? I would say it's Dominic. It's Breaker. It's Priest, obviously. It's the Street Profits.
Yeah, where have they been? Well, Tez is just his.
I guess he's had a baby, but it's one show a week.
Yeah, it's one show a week, and also they were off TV for months before that as well.
Yeah.
They came back for like a 3-week run and have disappeared again.
Yeah, like 2 weeks paternity leave is the norm over here. That doesn't explain. I think it was Garrett on the Wrestling Observer. He used to say that Montez Ford was out with Bianca Belair's pregnancy. Like it's, he's pregnant too. But yeah, if you look at all of them, they've not got the entrances.
Yeah,
Street Profits used to have the entrance with the red cups falling, but they don't do that anymore.
No, Jordan Grace, I would add as a name in here that I'm just like, somebody who's not on TV. Julia is another one who just feels like she's just not being used to her full potential. Yeah,
because she is on TV a fair bit, but she's just getting beaten all the time.
Yeah.
And she put out that was before SummerSlam, wasn't it? That post about how I'll keep fighting and blah, blah, blah.
And Grace, it feels like, they brought her in because that'll be a really good, because she's got the look. And now they're sort of just, lost interest because they've got other people who've got looks, I guess.
So the secret, if you're frustrated in WWE, work on your entrance.
I'd like to thank everyone who got in touch with us to let us know that we've made it. Or rather, you've made it.
We've made it.
Well, I mean, I would say, because I messaged you about this, you made this. Because I saw this before a few people had messaged it to me, because it came up on my YouTube homepage recommendations for videos. And I got it. Also, I got the first time you posted up the original video as well. But you made it. Someone has made a reacting to video of your video of why WWE isn't wrestling anymore.
Yes, the internet continues to eat itself.
So yeah, Smidgen.
We'll link it in the
Absolutely,
show notes.
Did a reaction video, and she sat there and she watched your video and she gave her thoughts on it as she watched it.
Yeah.
So we thought, we'll do a reacting video of our own. So we're going to react to her reacting to your video.
Yeah, it's the natural next step, and then hopefully she'll react to our reaction, or someone else. It could be like the Ice Bucket Challenge. At the end of the video, we can go, I nominate Sean Ross Sapp to react to this video, reacting.
So yeah, head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, because there's a link to it in the video description, as well as the original video as well. We will be reacting to Smidgen's reaction to why WWE isn't wrestling anymore. And here's a little clip of it.
Each match could have been 5.5 minutes longer. And this isn't just for WrestleMania. On average, in the ESPN era, there have been 29 minutes of commercial breaks per show.
I thought she was going to pause. You going to pause?
No. I weirdly was trying to pause the video for her because she looked like she was going to say something.
Oh no!
You never do that? You never try and help the people on screen? Sorry, I got that for you, but oh no, wait, you're a TV show.
Can I tell you what I think Dynamite needs? Don't say a shorter runtime. Don't say no everyone.
Better crowd. Sasha, come home.
Oh, man.
It's absolutely terrible crowd on this show.
How tragic is that? How tragic do you have to be as a person that you went to a wrestling show and shout, Sasha, come home, we love you?
I actually think it's okay to dox that person. If we found out their name and address. Usually you shouldn't. Usually you shouldn't do that, but I think, what is this?
Well, they'd be able to get some help then.
Yeah.
Like, someone would be able to reach out and be like, are you okay?
I'm going to pay to go see an AEW show and say, come home, Sasha.
We love you. Come home. It's honestly one of the saddest things I've heard on a wrestling show in quite some time. In the same way that Chad Gable said that the AAA tournament is one of the coolest things he's seen in a while. This is one of the saddest things I've seen in a while.
At least AEW didn't script this one like WWE did.
No, here's what I think Dynamite needs. It needs some angles, man. This needs some dynamite, if you will. It needs some fireworks. We are currently still on the road to the fireworks factory. And All In is obviously going to be the ultimate fireworks factory, but I think we need some stops along the way to just light those fireworks, light the fuse, spark the boom, ignite Dynamite. I feel like we need some. It's 2 weeks in a row now where Dynamite hasn't had that big hook. That big hook that said, got to tune in next week. And that bigger hook that you need to say, got to buy All In. You've got to get your tickets for All In. You've got to buy the pay-per-view for All In. And there's 2 weeks left. So I'm not saying that they've done a terrible booking job of this. There's 2 weeks left. But I don't think you need to save everything for the last 2 weeks. You can do this across a whole month and get some things going. At the moment, everything is just bubbling nicely. Will and Kenny is bubbling nicely. But I do feel that Tony is relying on the fact that it's Will and Kenny, and that's what's selling you a ticket.
Which is a shame after, it's difficult again because we're in a place where we're saying, well, it's not a 10 out of 10 show.
Yes.
Therefore, it's a disappointment. But because Dynamite has been really a 10 out of 10, sometimes 11 out of 10 show for 6 out of 7 months this year, and we're meant to be getting even better on the road to All In because we're so close now, that it is like, there was a Will and Kenny segment on this show, but it was an average segment.
I think it's teeing up a segment that's going to be coming. I think it's teeing up an angle that is coming. But I thought the Hangman and Will segment that we had a couple of weeks back was teeing up a segment that is coming. But we're running out of road here. I feel like we need to get some just hot angles on these shows. And you can get returns. MJF returned last week, got Swerve return this week with the tease of the New Day. But we need some, I don't know, man. We just need to get some fireworks going.
A lot of wrestling. I can't believe I'm saying this because we just showed you a clip of us reacting to someone reacting to my video about how there's not enough wrestling in WWE, actual in-ring wrestling. I do think there's a bit too much wrestling on AEW.
That's what you were saying earlier about, you can't just debut everyone and have them beat Brock Lesnar, but that's not the only thing you can do. It's not like you have to have no wrestling or all wrestling. There is Baby Bear Porridge.
I want my Baby Bear Porridge, Luke.
Will Ospreay opened up this show, putting over his win at Arena Mexico last week. And it's about the last time he was at Arena Mexico was the day he found out that his grandfather had passed away. And it's very sad. But, I picked myself up because that's what he would have wanted me to do. And last week I won. And I wanted to set an example, not just for the boys in the back, but all the people watching at home. Which includes our world champion, Kenny Omega, because he was sat at home last week. Which I thought was a really good line. He called out Kenny. Don Callis came out instead, and Don Callis talked about his history with Kenny Omega, which then transitioned into his history with Will Ospreay. But he said that your path to All In isn't paved with gold, it's paved with blood. And the Don Callis family B team ran out and beat up Will Ospreay. Kenny Omega ran out for the save, very casually came out for the save. That is, intentionally so. And I liked Kenny's promo here. Look, I warned you about Don. Look how that turned out for you. I warned you about Moxley. Look how that turned out for you. I'm warning you now about MJF. But the next time this thing happens, I won't be here to save you.
Kenny's delivery was great. Kenny can be a bit hit and miss on promos, but he went into that sort of sinister villain delivery here while still being a tweener babyface role. And I thought Ospreay's delivery as well was, he was sort of that emotional bestie, obviously genuinely choked up a few times talking about his granddad. But the best stuff this year has been the web of Ospreay, Death Riders, and then Omega. And it does feel like they've just completely paused the Death Riders Moxley aspect to this story.
Yeah.
And I get that is the story I guess they're trying to tell, because Ospreay is now on it alone. He has said, I don't want the Death Riders, I don't want any help. I'm doing this by myself. But I don't think it's as good. I think it's at the story's detriment.
I think there is something still there to be mined. And I think there are still stories to be told before you get to All In. And we can easily set up Moxley to challenge Will for the title, or challenge Kenny if he retains after All In. And that's great. You can keep that plate spinning. But I feel like there's still stuff to be mined before we get to All In.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, the MJF thing is stuff that we can mine, and they're setting up an angle where, I don't know, MJF is going to beat down Will Ospreay, and Kenny's not going to make the save. And that's going to send Will in as the underdog going in for the match against Kenny Omega at All In. There's a big angle to be done there. But we can just pepper these throughout the month's build. I'm not saying you have to do all of these ones every week. But there are other big matches happening at All In that you could pepper angles throughout the month to do, so that every show has a big angle that sets up one of your big matches at All In, as opposed to what I feel like they're doing, which is just teasing you of the big angle, teasing you of an angle, teasing you of an angle, and then just having lots of really good wrestling on the show. Thought it was a good opening, though. We've got a recap of the Continental Cup so far. Go on, Eddie. Eddie got a win. I wasn't expecting him to make it out of the first round. Go on, Eddie.
Are we always going to get Kingston Moxley? If I ever see Moxley and Kingston in a tournament, I'm like, surely that's the final. But it could be a second round match.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think we're likely heading to Nigel winning because it's
Why?
Because it's Wembley.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
winning the Continental title?
No, winning the Continental Cup, so he can then face Moxley for the title at Wembley. That just makes the most. And when I say it makes the most sense to me, it is in a country where he is from. Ergo, that makes sense. I think as a fan, and I love Nigel to bits, don't get me wrong. As a fan, I want it to be Eddie.
Yeah, Tony loves putting over, maybe too much, people in their hometown. Unless it's all a swerve. Brawling Birds are going to lose. Nigel's going to lose.
Will's going to lose.
Oh, no, Will's going to lose as well.
We've got a recap of MJF's return, and then he beat Nick Wayne and Speedball Mike Bailey to earn the Who Does Number 2 workforce spot in the Casino Gauntlets.
So fun to have MJF back. He just adds so much to everything, not just like his segment, but he becomes a threat in everyone else's main storylines. Yeah, really well worked.
I really enjoyed this match.
MJF tried to sort of mentor Nick Wayne in this, but then Nick Wayne was like, wait a sec, you're just going to pin Bailey anyway. Bailey's brilliant, as he is and everything. And MJF just did what I would do as a wrestler in a three-way. Spend most of it outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
Work smarter, not harder. I really enjoyed the action throughout this. MJF got the win, tapping out Nick Wayne. And then he cut a promo saying, I'm going to be at Wembley and I'm going to beat Andrade because Andrade's not here because I kicked the crap out of him last week. And then Andrade's music hit and MJF looked shocked. I thought the commentary did a great job. There was Paul White on commentary as well this week. But they were like, oh, we thought Andrade wasn't here. And it turned out it was all a big joke by MJF because Andrade's not here. And he said that he ain't here because I took him out. And Kenny and Will are scared of me as well. I'm the one true champion of AEW.
I got the impression that this wasn't Max behind the music. It was Andrade doing mind games because afterwards MJF was like, oh, okay, yeah, real funny.
I thought it was him having, like, it's funny because he was the one who made the joke. Divine Dominion cut a promo from the Brawling Birds bar and smashed some perfectly good pint glasses.
So has that been a thing before?
It's like the Judgment Den. It's like, they just tear it down and then rebuild it at the next venue they go to do something else so they can do their promos from there.
I feel offended.
Britface. Foley interviewed the Bang Bang Gang. Jay White hopes that Moxley makes it to the final because Jay wants to beat Moxley.
I don't know if it's because we just watched a lot of Mick Foley promos outside of this podcast. He's clicked for me now.
Oh yeah, is it working now?
Because at the end, like, Foley's going to do the gun pose and then Austin Gunn just adjusts it, and Foley looks so happy. And then later on we get him in a women's interviews, Chris Statlander, and he somehow put over his own merch, put over his daughter in the crowd, but didn't steal the spotlight from Chris.
Put over the big match next week.
I'm Lovely Mick, and I'm now part of the fabric of this place.
Yeah. Jay White then beat David Finlay in a Continental Cup match. This was better than the pay-per-view match.
But still not, like, mind-blowing.
No. But I thought it was good.
Everyone banned from ringside, of course, and Jay just won clean.
Yeah.
So I'm fine if this is the end of this Bullet Club leaders feud.
No, well,
it's not really done anything.
Because Jay's not winning this Continental Cup because you're going to get Stadium Stampede between the Bang Bang Gang and the War Dogs and Death Riders at All In. Tony Schiavone brings out Hangman Page and Brodido to celebrate their title win, and Bandito would be like, "Hey, I'm happy," and Brody's there be like, "Hey, I'm happy," and Page's like, "I'm happy as well." And the second that someone felt that he was happy, Swerve Strickland was like, "Sorry, what's that? He's happy. I better make my return then."
It was so good. And it was like, of course Swerve would return now. This does not get AEW off the hook for not having Strickland around for like 3 months. He's been sorely missed.
Yeah.
But Swerve coming out here was the best place to reintroduce him if you're not going to have him around for a while. And yeah, Hangman's back. So it's like Joker and Batman. The Joker doesn't really have a reason to exist if Batman doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They create each other.
And he said, Bandito's like, "What a great year you've had." But I beat you.
Yeah.
Brody, what a great year. I've beaten you. And it always comes back to you, Hangman. Because you and I were on the same page earlier this year. And then you set your... And I took my eye off you for 2 seconds. And you went for the world title. And you lost. And now you can't go for it again. Because you need me. And... he's setting some stuff up with him. The demand come out, and Ricochet's like, "Look, I've had enough of this. You shouldn't have won last week because the finish was botched. We're getting our rematch." And by the way, Swerve, I don't know why you're out here. This is trios business. So if you want to be in the trios division, you need to find 2 people that's going to help you out. But I can't see anyone who could possibly be your tag team partners.
Who?
Who could it possibly be? And then Hangman goes off and threatened to hit them a little bit. It was good fun. And then he called Ricochet a little bitch.
Another bit of the Strickland Hangman bit. It was so good when Strickland brought up, and you can never challenge for the world title again. Because in Swerve's head, I guess, you're my arch nemesis. Like, we are the main characters of AEW. I'm the hero, and you're the villain, Hangman Page. But if Hangman can no longer be the world champion, what does that do to Swerve's perception of himself?
That's interesting, yeah.
But if he's always defining himself in contrast to Hangman, and now Hangman can't be the best.
Yeah.
I love their relationship. It's so long now, but it's always fresh.
So Fightful Select reported that the New Day are coming into AEW soon. Austin Creed and Kofi. It makes sense, I guess, for this. They're going to be the spot for them. Swerve needs 2 partners. Who could it be? It's Kofi and it's Creed. They come in and it's them and Swerve versus Brodido and Hangman at All In.
Yeah, they've managed to, if that is the plan, they've managed to do neither of the things we said they should do. I think, I think there's better uses of bringing the New Day in.
Yeah,
because I'm sure it'll be great and it'll be a great moment and it'll be a great match if this is what they do. Could always be a misdirect. But I feel like the New Day should come in as their own thing and not Swerve's backup guys.
Yeah, I agree.
That feels like what Motor City Machine Guns should be.
I'm going to use Motor City Machine Guns as the example here because that is... You can bring in... If this is your plan for the New Day, grand. What's your next step? I think that's always going to be my question with Tony whenever he brings someone new in. It's like, great, what's your next step? Because he's very good at bringing someone in and getting the pomp and circumstance about bringing someone in. But then it often feels like, I would say 80% of the time, there's no second step other than, well, I have you now. And the Motor City Machine Guns are a great example of this. Brought them in for the Detroit show. What was your next step? Because it wasn't having them on Dynamite. Did they wrestle on Collision? Like, what's your next step for them? Renee tried to interview Willow, but Mercedes Moné attacked her, and then the lamest guy on the planet yelled, "Sasha, come home, we love you."
I kind of wanted to see something more from Willow. She's been so good in promos and stuff. I would have had her talk for at least a minute before Moné attacked.
Yeah.
But it was really, Renee asks a question, Moné attacks her right away.
Yeah. again, it's bubbling. We need get some fire in there. Chris Jericho took on Kevin Knight for the TNT Championship. Big Show said that Jericho is his favorite tag team partner of all time. So sorry, Billy Gunn. If it does come down to it, we've got the Big Show approval that Chris Jericho is better than Billy Gunn. Poor old Shoguns. This match was fine. Like, it was all right.
Weirdly had loads of heat.
Yeah, it was just a Jericho match against people.
Such a bad crowd.
You're super into Jericho. This featured one of the dumbest spots I've seen in wrestling in 2026, which is, how to explain this? So he gets Kevin Knight in the walls of Jericho.
In the middle of the ring.
In the middle of the ring. Don Callis jumps up onto the apron. You've seen this spot 1,000 times in wrestling. The babyface lets go of the hold, walks towards the heel. The heel distracts or interferes or what have you, leads to the near falls. Jericho didn't let go of the hold. So he just waddled forwards with Kevin Knight still in the walls of Jericho and just let Don Callis hit him in the head with a screwdriver because he didn't have any hands to protect himself because he was still using the hold on Kevin Knight.
Yeah, and Don Callis got in the ring. I think what was meant to happen was walls of Jericho locked in, but he's by the ropes. Referee's checking on Knight, so she can't see what's happening on the apron. Don Callis jumps up on the apron, clocks Jericho with the screwdriver.
Yeah.
But Jericho might have been out of position. So Don Callis tries to adjust and okay, I'm going to have to get in the ring to hit Jericho. He does. Jericho's like, no, I'll come to you. Don gets back out of the ring, down onto the ground. Jericho shuffles forward. Don Callis gets back up onto the apron, hits him with the screwdriver.
Just let go of the hold.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
It didn't look good at all. It was really clunky. And then it didn't even lead to the end. It didn't even lead to the finish because Kevin Knight hits the coast to coast drop kick and then Jericho kicks out. So that's kind of buried the screwdriver spot, which that's Don's thing. That's how he turned on Kenny Omega. It's the whole Will Ospreay thing of will he use it's like kicking out the sledgehammer. It's not as protected, grant you, but it's like, or not as, not as, but I think it's, I don't know, I thought this was shit.
I think Jericho was doing a bit of a cheat code thing to have a good match.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, a crash landing, Kevin Knight got the win.
I like the code breaker reversal on one of Knight's dives.
I don't know what Jericho's doing at All In. Probably playing with Fozzy in my scheduled loo break.
Well, he had a match with Ciampa a couple of months ago, so he'll probably have a match with Ciampa.
Claudio cut a promo about the Cup, and Moxie cut a promo on Jack Perry. Chris Statlander took on Viva Van. Gave Viva Van enough in the match so it didn't feel like a full squash match. I quite enjoyed this a lot.
Same. Nice enhancement match in that Van got to show some cool spots, but Chris was never in trouble and looked really strong coming out of it. Foley
came out to interview it, and he announced a fatal four-way next week with Statlander, Maya World, Shida, and Persephone for the TBS Championship. And then Persephone and Hikaru Shida came out because they were having a tag match with Thunder Rosa and Maya World. 2 women's matches. This is what the 20-minute overrun does give you. Miscommunication between Persephone and Shida led to Maya World hitting her fall-away slam to get the win. I don't think she's retaining that title next week.
Fall-away slam, bridging pin. It's amazing, isn't it?
So finish.
What do you think, Chris? Chris wins it? I think she retains.
I think Persephone wins.
Really?
Yeah, and I think he's going to do it because Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live that people in WWE are baffled by the booking of Persephone. So he's going to do it to prove a point. And maybe Maya World wins. But it's only because she got the win here that made me go like, I don't think you're retaining next week. Darby cut a promo on Kevin Knight to announce.
Couldn't just be booking a champion strong?
Okay, all right. In the women's division, they're going to have a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah, he's going to jump off the roof.
What, of stuff? Wembley?
Yeah, Wembley Stadium. Coffin drop.
And then Kyle Fletcher was cutting a promo about All In. I love this so much because Don Callis said, I've got it all worked out. I've got it all worked out with Tony Khan because Tony Khan said that there's a former international champion who hasn't had his rematch yet. And Carl's like, oh, yeah, I know. So I've got to face Takeshita All In. I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, but it's okay because there's another former international champion that also hasn't had his rematch. And it's Okada. So there's Okada and Callis being like, we've got it all figured out because if you win or Okada wins, the family still wins. Our chances have doubled. And Carl's like, yeah, but what about my chances? And Okada's like, it doesn't matter as long as the title's in the family. And Tom's like, yeah, you see, he gets and understands it. Okada lying through his teeth. Oh, I loved this.
It is. Okada's fantastic. But this was a fun thing. It was a fun way to set it up. But this is a sort of dream match that we've all been fantasy booking for months. The way to announce the match, did you ever think, a little quick backstage comedy bit with Renee would be the best way to do it? On a show where you said it felt like it was lacking in angles, yeah. I felt this, as much as I enjoyed this, I was a bit like, I would have done that in the ring. I would have done it like Takeshita's out there, Fletcher's out there.
He's the G1, so that's where you
Well, you would do something where it's just a bit more, you play up the tension a bit more, and you could have a nice 10-minute dramatic in-ring segment.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point. But like, at least with the explanation of how we got to this match, Don Callis thinking this is the best idea in the world, not seeing the issues that it is causing, Okada manipulate. I think a lot of that is great. But yes, we do need some fireworks. But speaking of fireworks, this main event, Jon Moxley versus Jack Perry in the Continental Cup. This was an awesome match.
I don't know if you know this. These were the only two men, the combination of these two men are the only combination who have held every single men's title in the company. Singles men's title, yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
No, you don't have to check. Renee said that before the match.
Yeah, and then they said it along commentary as well. Yeah.
What a stat.
Is it?
I thought it was a really fun stat, and they never fought each other before. It's a terrific match, though.
Terrific
that match. Started at the 2-hour mark of a 2-hour show.
It's doing it to wind you up now.
I know. This was a quick 2-hour 21 Dynamite.
Yeah.
After last week's 2-hour 53.
So Mox gave him the bulldog like through the timekeeper's area, and that led to him.
Oh, terrific spot!
Like, busting him open and like just kick the crap out of him. Jack Perry's fiery comeback, like this never say die attitude, I thought was so. I mean, it will lead to nothing. Like Jack is going to get nothing off the back of this. Great work that he did, which is a shame, but that's the story of Jack Perry in AEW. Giving him the finger, firing up at him, hitting that clothesline. I thought this was really, really good stuff. But in the end, it just could not survive the bulldog choke for long enough, and he passed out. He didn't just lay on his back, smile, and die in front of an audience. No, he didn't give up, and he passed out because of the pain.
Back in the day, that would be sort of a Blackpool Combat Club initiation match. Well, if Perry's not really doing anything, doesn't feel like he has much direction, joining the Death Riders wouldn't be the worst idea for him. But I thought Moxley was great. Perry was great. This was a really good main event. And I even watched it through the break.
Oh, did you?
I was so into it. I was like, I don't want to miss a thing here. In the Excalibur's. And we'll be back in 1 minute, 58 seconds. Usually I'm just skip.
Yeah.
But this, I watched it all. Terrific match.
I enjoyed this episode of Dynamite. It needs some getting there.
Yeah, this was a 3 out of 5 show.
Yeah.
Before we get on to your thoughts from Patreon, let's say a big thank you to our wonderful pledge hammers on Patreon. Yo, Adrian! Rocky.
They're not in the doc. Are they in the doc?
Yeah, at the bottom.
He can last short far longer than you in the ring.
Starbuck Stephen Costa.
Shield Maiden, the Zornies.
Big Willie D.
Burly Rob Burwell.
He ran. Aaron Hamrahan.
The Machine Gun, Alex Anderson.
Let him cook, Alex.
Apok Alex now.
The Swiss Submission Machine, Andreas Fugliastella.
And you can look, but you can't touch Bella Pearson. That is your Hall of Fame class for the Thursday, 13th of August, 2026.
And if you go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now, not only can you have a comment or a thought on Raw or AEW read out on this very show, if we deem it good enough, you can also catch up with all of Monday Night War so far. There's like 20 episodes, which Jeremiah Culver has done because he's asked, did Team Serene book this? Because this was the mid-show. Mohammed Al-Banai writes, AEW usually the best when it comes to tournaments, but this one I'm just not feeling. I don't see compelling storylines like the last C2 or the Owen Hart Cup, and there's a lack of star power. I'm reminded of your reviews of some of the older Rumbles where it was just a bunch of lads rumble. This is, for the most part, a bunch of lads tournament. Despite that criticism, I did enjoy the episode, except for Jericho.
Yeah, I guess it's just Tony wanted to do an FA Cup style, because it's not a tournament as such. It's like it's a football thing. It's just, you got randomly drawn for your first round. The winners will then get randomly drawn again of who they're going to face. But it's just a way for Nigel to win. It's a way for us to get to Nigel versus Moxley at All In.
Yeah, I'm not into it. The match was great, but maybe that's it. Maybe he just wanted to give some stakes to some great matches on TV.
That's what it is.
Will B writes, sadly a pretty subpar episode to me. Think a large part of it was an extremely weak and annoying crowd.
Sasha, we love you.
Noah, I was there live at Dynamite. It was really good. There were some very annoying people in the crowd. The Sasha come home thing was bad, but they also tried to what chant Kenny. Mox versus Perry was surprisingly good. Seeing Swerve made me so happy. Overall fun show. Collision had a better show, and biggest pop was for Willow on Collision.
There you go. She's a star, man. I hope she wins.
Not the only good thing on Collision, apparently. We've got that up later.
Oh, yeah?
L3 Productions writes, I like Kenny saving Will, but then using a villain-like cadence in his voice. It kind of feels like Kenny got one up here on Will, as Will just shrugs it off. I also like MJF's promo, as he is always... but this real world champion stuff feels really messy. I'm going to be at the Glasgow show in a few weeks. I hope I get a Will match. Probably not, though. I wouldn't count Will out on having a mad match 4 days before an All-In match. Because we saw him do Rev Pro the night before his All-In match.
100%.
Brandon writes, excellent main event, but the rest of the show was fine, I guess. That Jericho match especially really lowered the average quality of the episode. I didn't hate it that much.
No, I didn't either.
Anyway, I'm going to the show next week, and I hope the tease this week means I will get to see the New Day debut in person. Do you think the New Day debut next week?
I think you got to get them. You need to start advertising that they're going to be at All In to sell some tickets.
They're both free agents now, so there's nothing contractually holding them up. Romeo L. I was there, and it was an amazing time. The best match of the night, in my opinion, wasn't even on Dynamite. Please go out of your way and watch. Shibata versus Nigel McGuinness. What a match.
Mad, right?
Real Double J, friend of the show, long time friend of the show. I'm here to find out if Ollie has solved his conundrum with media services or just bought a different TV stand where his remote works through the doors. And if the lads got pre-sale Weezer tickets today and plan to do a live stream Drinkerton. The first hour of Dynamite I watched before work was fun. Well, you're in your Weezer top right now, aren't you?
Sure am, yes. I've not got... we didn't go for the pre-order tickets for Weezer.
A general sale tomorrow.
Yeah. So some friends of mine went to go see them when they supported Deftones, when Deftones played the UK a couple of years back. And I then watched them at Glastonbury through iPlayer. And it is like... They're quite boring to watch live.
Not charismatic.
They're not charismatic guys. And it's when I was a teenager in the 90s watching them, that was cool because they're not like all these other bands. They're just boring lads. I don't want to spend a lot of money now to watch boring lads play their fun songs.
They sound like almost perfectly like the CD as well. So it's not like you get any interesting stuff. And yeah, we've had the covers album. So if they do a cover, we know what it's going to be like. I did have it on my to-do list. I cancelled it yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, we're going to go see Adam and Joe.
Yeah.
Later this year.
Well, this is like July next year, I think. Yeah. Ali Pally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not got anyone to go with either.
Well, if you need someone to go with, I will go with you, and you and I will have a great time when we hear Tracks Off the Blue album.
I did solve the media server conundrum for now. I went with the easy option. I've gone with Plex. And last night, for the first time, I kicked back on my sofa. Anna was out, and I closed all the doors and windows and curtains because it was too hot outside. And the eclipse, who cares about the eclipse? I streamed in excellent condition my Blu-ray rips of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3 Episode 5, the bonding, and episode 6, Booby Trap. Booby Trap's a superior episode. So good. And honestly, I was like, I've watched this on Netflix. I've watched this on my 4K Blu-ray player. The image is better than Netflix, and the sound was better than the Blu-ray player.
There you go. That's what I was going to ask, because you just said to me then, I watched something I already own, but I didn't have to get up and put it into the player.
Isn't that the dream?
This is why Wall-E happens. This is why Wall-E. You'll always say 1984. It's meant to be. It's not a blueprint. It's a warning. No. Wall-E is not a blueprint. It's a warning.
No, all the energy I save from the Blu-ray disc changeovers, I crush it at the gym. All that I put it in a little pot, and I take it out the pot at the gym.
Okay, if you say so.
The Wall-E. Don't worry. I'm going to be some badass dystopian guy hunting down Woolies to raid for spare parts for my media server. I need more memory. I have actually caused the downfall of human civilization, not AI.
It could be like that episode of The Twilight Zone where it's just like, finally, I've got all the time for the books. But then he smashes his glasses.
Yeah.
No, the glasses.
And then finally for now, Slinky with a cup of coffee writes, honestly, really enjoyed the show. I will say the crowd was pretty lacking, but I've grown used to that these days. Also, sidebar, Sullivan in my Ted Lasso episode. I could have cried. It was so cool to see him and recognize him by voice alone. Congrats, babes.
It's been so lovely to see so many people be genuinely surprised. Because none of us have said anything ahead of time. He was going to be in Ted Lasso.
Well, people get cut from stuff
exactly,
all the time.
Which is why we didn't say anything. So then I woke up to a bunch of messages from people being like, was that Sullivan in Ted Lasso? Someone even said, I enjoyed Sullivan's cameo in Ted Lasso, as if he was on the show as Sullivan Bo Brown.
He was in a way. He didn't get given a name, did he?
Yeah, the Paddington guy. Right, it's time for the Ass Index.
You are listening to the Ass Index.
On the theme song for the Ass Index, someone's left a comment yesterday that says like, "Yeah, I prefer the old one. Make your own one then. If you're not happy with that one, make your own one."
Is Tonga Loa better or worse than Billy Gunn?
No, Billy Gunn's better.
Is Charlie Haas better or worse than Billy Gunn?
I feel like Charlie Haas is better than Billy Gunn.
No. The longevity of Billy Gunn. Look, if Charlie, there was a point in 2010, 2011 when he's world's greatest tag team with Shelton Benjamin. He could have gone on to be an all-time great.
I think this is why
tag team wrestler.
I think this is why I'm going to bat for Charlie Haas, because Charlie Haas was dead good when he was in WWE, but then he left. And there's a lot of guys that leave WWE and then never get anything out of it. He and Shelton really did make a name for themselves, and actually made a bigger name for themselves in-ring workers when they reunited as a tag team in Ring of Honor than they ever did in WWE. Billy Gunn made a huge name for himself in WWE and has coasted off of that ever since.
Sesame Daddy? VKM?
Well, VKM I'll give you, obviously. Sesame Daddy, that's somebody else, and he got on top of that.
I think Billy Gunn has to go above Charlie Haas. And I love Charlie Haas.
I've just made my claim, but I will defer to you.
Okay. Is James Storm better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Go James Storm.
James Storm's better.
Yeah.
He won a world title. Is Nikki Cross better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's had the overall impact that Billy Gunn has.
We'll see soon. She's going to be running a wrestling company soon. Well, running a wrestling company now, in fact. Yeah.
I'll put Billy Gunn above Nikki
Okay, we'll
Cross.
go Billy Gunn then.
Is Jimmy Yang better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Oh, well, there used to be a knee-slapping reason to tune in to watch SmackDown every week, and it sure wasn't Billy Gunn. It was Jimmy Wang Yang.
Billy Gunn's better.
What, the Jimmy Wang Yang?
Yes.
The Young Dragons suggest otherwise.
Is Enzo Amore better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Billy Gunn's better than Enzo Amore.
Yeah. He shone bright, but he shone fast. Is Elijah Burke better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Billy Gunn's better than Elijah Burke.
Good Is Michael Elgin better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's one of those ones.
I really liked his in-ring work.
I'm going to defer to you as the Ring of Honor Michael Elgin
Oh
fan.
my God, I was obsessed with Michael Elgin. I bought him a pint in Sittingbourne at a Rev Pro show. And you know who he beat in that? Sorry, who he lost to in that appearance?
Yeah, these two.
A fat guy called Walter. And I was like, why is this guy beating Michael Elgin in 2011? Of course, he would going to be Gunther. Look, he's self-sabotaged, so he could have been great, but let's put Billy Gunn above him. Is Lyra Valkyria better or worse than Billy Gunn?
At acting? I can put Billy Gunn above.
Oh, then Lyra would be better. Yeah, hopefully within time, Lyra can outshine the ass man. Is Paul Bearer better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Oh, yes. Paul Bearer's had such an impact.
Bearer's better. Is Fandango better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Now, this is interesting because within all of this, you've got to include the big push that he got, the WrestleMania win that he got over Chris Jericho, the idea, which, you know, I mean, it was done to annoy Chris Jericho and make fun of the fact he did Dancing with the Stars, lol, because that's what a lovely company to work for. And there was Breezango and the Fashion Files. Do you remember that? That was like, we latched onto the Fashion Files, like, oh, there's something good in this company, and we're all going to love this. I was cleaning out the garage last weekend as part of Project Garage, and I found in my wardrobe that we've got out there, which I came from my old house, my Breezango t-shirts. I was like, I didn't even know I still had this. Turns out it's just been in my garage for all this time.
Isn't that the t-shirt that Jeff Goldblum
referenced
spoke to you about?
He did indeed, yes.
That is a historic t-shirt.
It's in the bin now.
It's quite an interesting one because I bet if you were a fan that started in the early 2010s, Fandango might be your Billy Gunn.
Fascinating as a way to look at it.
You know, a mid-carder with great entrance music, really got over to an extent, great at comedy.
Fandangoing.
Ultimately went nowhere.
That nearly became a number one single here in the UK.
I feel like Billy Gunn has to go above him, though. But it's actually close.
I'm going to make the push for Daddy Dango.
You want to take this to a coin flip?
Let's take it to a coin flip. Let's go Daddy. I'm going to go Daddy Dango
Okay, here we go. It's flipping. I feel like it's always tails.
It is always tails.
Because it's tails again.
Sort yourself out, Google.
Shall I flip again?
Yeah.
Just to make sure. Now it's heads. I'm going to flip again.
That's 2 out of 3.
Now it's heads.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 then.
Now it's tails.
Well, I mean, there are only 2 sides. So
now it's tails.
It is a 50-50 chance of which one it's going to be.
Now it's tails. Oh, now it's heads. Okay, well, by that, we've got to put Fandango above Billy Gunn.
Well done, Daddy Dango.
Is Doug Williams better or worse than Billy
Gunn?
He
is.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, come on, mate.
Well, no, obviously, we've got a big investment in Williams because he was a big part of the British scene.
And the British invasion.
But...
He got Magnus over.
Really, in the grand scheme of things, Billy Gunn, as a mainstream name...
We just had Nick Aldis have the best match of the weekend that wasn't a main event. Again, let's say the 3rd best match at SummerSlam when he got in the ring with Gunther. And that's because of Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Nick's not having that match if there's no Doug.
Okay, I put him above. Is JD McDonough better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Do you know what? I'm almost going back for JD here because I still remember that incredible match with Carl Fletcher at Progress.
Well, I don't think we can put...
What? Based on one match?
If you had Doug Williams above, I think
fine.
Billy Gunn. Just in terms of just overall impact on the wrestling industry. Is Hook better or worse than Billy Gunn?
What happened to him?
Where's
he been?
Why is he not in the WWE Frustration thing?
Yeah, Billy Gunn's better than Hook.
Yeah.
It's a real shame.
And is Dom Farley better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Dom Farley was in bad luck.
Yeah.
Got
to put...
Yeah, Billy Gunn's better than bad luck Farley, yeah.
Good week for Billy Gunn. 11. He's better than 11 of them.
Good week.
Have you got any recommendations?
I do. And it's me. I'm your recommendation for this week. Handsome me. So,
I don't know where this is going.
I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis a number of years ago. It was about 12-ish years ago now, maybe like 14 years ago. But okay, either way, I got in the mid-2010s, I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I've been dealing with it ever since. I go through stages, I get bad flare-ups. Other times I'm okay, and I just sort of like live with it day to day. This year it's been bad, and I'm now on medication for it to kind of sort of help me along the way, and I've got to go through some procedures and stuff. And I'm starting a 5-day low carb diet, or no fiber diet, which means I'm eating nothing but bread and rice for the next 5 days. But I'm also trying to do something about it. So in September, I am running 60 miles across the course of the month. Thank you to everyone who's already donated to the page. I'm running for Crohn's and Colitis UK. Thank you for everyone who has donated already. There'll be a link to it in the podcast and video description. And I'm doing this as a pitch on this episode because I'm looking for you to stroke my ego. Honestly, feel sorry for me because I've got a disease that could turn bad down the line, but I'm very much hoping that it won't. But also because there's a leaderboard.
Oh.
And currently at the moment, I'm in the 70s on the leaderboard because I've raised about 200 quid just off like a couple of Instagram posts that I've done. But at the tippity top of the list, they're about sort of 850.
That's reachable.
I think that's reachable because if everybody watching this and listening to this, if like 30,000 people watch this podcast on YouTube, and there's like another 6,000 to 8,000 that listen to it on a podcast, it's like 40,000. If you all donated £1 each. Not only will I smash the top 10, like I'll be nowhere be able to be beaten. So, I'm just making a pitch. Try and get me into the top 10. I think we can all work together to get me into the top 10.
What if you wake up tomorrow and you've passed £10,000? Oh my God, what's happening? And you look at the donor list, Chris Jericho. Because he always...
What cost?
Because he always donates, doesn't he, to things
well, if
like
Jericho's
that.
watching, and we absolutely buried his match this week, and he wants to donate so I can give him a nice review next week.
It comes with a clause. You've got to sit through my match in Wembley.
You can't go.
You can't go to the toilet.
Yep. Well, if it's in the good name of Crohn's and Colitis UK, I will do that. That will be also part of my raising money for charity. So yeah, that's me. I'm your recommendation for this week.
I will have to donate as well.
You don't have to.
Oh, I'll donate.
Oh, thank you. Kieran has.
My recommendation is, I only watch... I can't recommend anything to do with Spider-Man Brand New Day again.
What? Why not?
It's been 2 weeks in a row. I'm seeing it again tonight, 5:30, by myself.
Oh, great. Did you go see it with Anna?
No.
I think
she's not interested.
Why not?
I know.
Even Kate's interested.
I know. So I'm going to see it by myself in a cinema that seems exclusively to be snuggle seats, is what I call them. And I've had to get the one armchair, like I'm cucking myself. Oh, knobby no, mates. It's not even a good seat. It's like at the back in an awkward place. Because I don't want to be on a snuggle seat and someone else sit next to me.
You're Carla Silvering it.
Or a couple has to sit either side of me.
Yeah. I would have gone with you if you'd have asked.
I think I did.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I asked everyone in the office.
Not me. You did not ask me. I mean, I can't go there because I've got my board games this evening.
Maybe that's why I didn't ask you. Laurie looked at me and went, nah. But I did lead with the snuggle seat. So maybe that was why.
So, I saw the invites a couple of weeks back over SummerSlam weekend. There was a 3-seat thing there, and I went on my own, and I booked the 3 seats that only had there were all 3 were empty. I was like, I don't want to sit with people on this one. I'd rather sit on my own. And then there was a couple that sat next to me in the film that is about swinging.
Yeah. Did a hand make its way across to that point? But because I'm not going to do a Spider-Man recommendation, I only watch movies that have Zendaya in now. Yeah. If you count tonight's movie, the last 4 film experiences I've had have had Zendaya. I'm going to recommend the one I watched on Monday, The Drama, with Robert Pattinson.
Who's also in The Odyssey. There are only 4 actors now. It's like the WWE main event scene.
Who's like a young up-and-comer who's like, I'm not getting any of the roles. Frustrated. There's David Ellison there going, you got to get yourself over. Get yourself over and then I'll buy your company.
I'm taking it out of Hollywood.
But it's really good. It got sort of middling reviews when it came out. I didn't watch it when it came out because I was going to get married to someone very shortly. And it's about, if you don't know, these two people, it's Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, our Pats. It's the week of their wedding. Like, starts on the Monday, their wedding's on the Saturday. And they're just getting drunk with some friends, and they just go round and say, well, the couple friends are like, well, before we got married, we both told each other the worst thing we've ever done.
Right.
And they go round and say the worst things they've ever done. And they're bad. And then Zendaya says her bad one. And everyone's like, that's genuinely awful.
Oh.
And it ruins the friendship. Our Pats is like, can I marry? This is not the person I thought I was marrying. And it's like, it's really funny. It's horrific. It's awkward.
What's it on?
I did a Rakuten Vitality purchase.
Oh, nice.
I think you probably have to like rent it on Amazon or something.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, the drama, A24. So it's not in the right aspect ratio.
Absolute wankers.
But that's all we've got time for today. Support Luke's Crohn's disease running.
Thank you. Crohn's and colitis, yeah.
Yeah, Crohn's and colitis. Sorry, I was trying to remember the name. Link should be in the description.
Hard to spell.
And yeah, CHR.
I found actually the ulcerative bit at the start really like the amount of times where I've had calls with Vitality on health insurance, like, have you got any other pre-existing conditions? Like, yeah, I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. Now, like, how are you spelling that? Like, UL.
Can I just spell diverticulitis? Because I've managed to spell that one now.
That one I've written out enough times in my notes. I can spell that one.
Kenny's sold that part of his body so often. I can now spell diverticulitis.
The amount of times I'm about to write, oh no, the diverticulitis.
But not silhouette. Neither of us can still spell silhouette.
Spell it, mate.
But go over there and go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk as well, because right now, me and Luke right now are now going to react to the video of someone reacting to our video. That's on patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now.